styrofoam cup can be used for drinking coffee, as a makeshift pot for your flowers, arts and crafts material, and in this case, a vital evidence in solving a 23-year-old murder case. Life can be much more cruel than it seems, because you can never be sure if the one person you think has nothing against you actually has the ability to harm you. This is the story of how Stephanie Lazarus got caught. Midway through the 1980s, American police officer Stephanie Lazarus killed Sherry Rasmussen, a 29-year-old resident of Van Nuys, California, for being her ex-boyfriend's new wife. Sherry Rasmussen is a Loma Linda University alumna. She enrolled in college at the age of 16, and by the time she was in her late 20s, she was the nursing director at Glendale Adventist Medical Center, giving lectures and teaching classes to fellow nurses. Sherry began dating UCLA graduate John Rudin in 1984 after they first met. They eventually got married in 1985. On February 24, 1986, Sherry was scheduled to give a speech at work that day, but she was called in sick for work. John Rudin supported her to call in sick because he wanted his wife to take a rest. He kissed his wife before leaving for his engineering work, and John called home. John called home several times to check on his wife, but nobody answered the phone. He was a bit worried, but thought that Sherry might have simply decided to show up to work. When John got home, he noticed that their door was open. He was stunned by what he saw. Sherry was lying in front of the fireplace at their house and was allegedly been shot 3 times. Stephanie's jealousy and resentment of the victim, Sherry Rasmussen, were the case's primary motives. Sherry seemed to be opposed to her ex-boyfriend starting a new life with his wife. Sherry's murder initially went unsolved for many years. For lack of evidence, the murder was a cold case until 2009. Here's how they caught the LAPD officer for murdering Sherry Rasmussen. Detective Dan Jaramillo and Greg Stearns invited Stephanie Lazarus to come in and advise them about a case involving stolen art. Knowing that Lazarus is a former policewoman, the detectives rehearsed multiple times and planned what they should do to catch Lazarus during the interview with her. They planned to keep the conversation as normal and casual as possible so that Lazarus won't notice their main plan for the interview. At the start of this clip, the detectives set the tone in the interrogation room into a calm atmosphere to mask their main plan. They pretend to seek advice from Lazarus over an ongoing art theft case. The detectives ask safe questions that slowly build up to them asking the first big question. The secret confrontation is starting.
Do you know John Rudin?
She acted like she hadn't heard that name for so long.
John Rutten?
Rutten.
The detectives paid little attention to her words and focused more on her reaction. It's like she'd seen a ghost. They asked Lazarus if she and Rudin were close friends back then. Stephanie became tense. She then eventually admitted that they were dating and were living in a dorm for a better part of 4 years.